Hey folks, it's Lobo, and we have a description about some new footage about the Batman, bro. Get the hell out of here. I'm so excited. We had Spider-Man No Way Home teaser trailer yesterday, which was awesome. So what a week for fans, man. This is crazy, but we have some CinemaCon description about the footage that was shown. So I'm going to be reading that, and we're going to be taking a look at that. Oh man, I'm so excited for this movie. It is my most anticipated movie, at least until the sequel comes out, because this, just if you're new to my channel and you don't know, Batman is my favorite character of any form of, let's say, art, literature, whatever. So I'm beyond excited for this film. And for those of you, if you have any questions about the film that are non-spoiler related, I'm your guide. I literally know everything about this movie. Non-spoiler things. I know non-spoiler things about this movie. I know everything, though. I keep my tabs on it every single day. So if you want to know something, I'm your guy. And right now, I'm adding to my collection of knowledge about this. So yeah, let's get into this, dude. I'm so excited. This was for CinemaCon. It's been running all week, but here was Warner Bros. Panel earlier today. Well, at least an hour ago from the time I'm recording this. But of course, it's exclusive, so you have to have secondhand information. But this is not spoiler related. It's official, and it's part of the marketing process. So fear not for spoilers. This is all official and public information. So this is from thecomicbook.com, and we have, there's already quite a lot of hype surrounding the Batman, as movie fans are excited to see the latest take on DC's Caped Crusader. Fans got their official inklings of what the film will entail during the DC Fandom Virtual Convention last August. The next one is October 16th, and they've been eager to see what's exactly in store beyond that. Today, Warner Bros. Debuted a new look at the highly anticipated movie as part of the studio's presentation at CinemaCon 2021. While the footage has not been released to the public, comicbook.com's Brandon Davis attended the event, and you can check out his description, including new quotes from star Robert Pattinson and director Matt Reeves below. Oh man, here we go. Bruce Wayne walls to ominous piano music. I think that's walk. Or is it walls? I don't know. I've never heard that form of sentence structure, but Bruce Wayne walls to ominous piano music. Michael Giacchino's doing the theme, or Giacchino. I think it's Giacchino. If you don't know him, he did also the theme for Spider-Man Homecoming, I think. And if you've seen the movie Up, it's very based with piano music, and a lot of his score was in the teaser trailer, mixed with Nirvana, of course, but he sounds great, dude. I bet that sounded amazing. For some reason, Batman has always stood to as one of the major characters of the 20th century. Pattinson says, "We see him in the cowl, removing it," and just like at the end of the trailer. He says it's radically different from other Batman movies. Reeves said, "We haven't seen anything grounding the way Year One does. It's not an origin story, but it is Batman in his early days." Footage shows Batman beating up goons set in red light. That's not in the teaser trailer when he punches the guy like 12 times, then he says, "I'm vengeance." It may be dubbed in red lighting, changed, I don't know. If new fight, obviously there's going to be a bunch of action in here. Explosions, police officers, and dark chaos. He's really working out this rage, Pattinson says. All the fights seem very personal. Yeah, that's a true thing. This is year 2 Batman. This is year 2 of his existence. Matt Reeves said at one point that it's going to touch upon his origins without necessarily being an origin story. So kind of like what they did with Spider-Man Homecoming. You know the character, and you just pick up in one of their stories. But Matt Reeves obviously is tying some loose ends with, going to touch upon his origin and where he comes from, because obviously that's such a big part of who Batman is his foundation, what happened in his past. And yeah, what Robert Pattinson is saying is so true about the rage. If you've ever played the game, this reminds me a lot of Batman Arkham Origins, which ironically had another year 2 Batman, but it's when he's not experienced, he's not the veteran that we all know him to be. He's much more agitated and sort of consumed with, again, this rage and stuff. He's very, oh my god, I can't quite grasp the word, but he's very intimate. He's very intimidating, and he's very agitated. So he's like a loose gun essentially in his earlier days, and that's what this is going for. He's very angry and very bitter, of course. That's why he says I'm vengeance rather than I'm Batman. So that's awesome. I really have been looking forward to more of an angrier version of Batman. And if you've seen any of the set photos of Robert Pattinson, his facial expressions as Bruce Wayne is just this solemn state of pure aggression and rage and wrath, essentially. It's just unbelievably amazing and spectacular, and I'm so excited because if you were expecting the Christian Bale type of Bruce Wayne, the charismatic playboy, he's not quite there yet. His persona has not been developed, and just what I'm sort of anticipating or theorizing, of course, is that throughout the film he'll come to the realization that he can't just live a single life, because Matt Reeves said he's consumed by Batman. That's who he is. Every night he goes out looking for a fight. So, of course, I feel as though he's not quite developed his Bruce Wayne persona, because as we know, that is the true mask when it comes to Batman. And so I feel like towards the end of the movie is when he'll learn to sort of grasp, hey, the dual identity, I need a public figure. I need to blow off all the questioning and the doubts, because it's kind of pretty obvious that he's Batman in this, not only by, hey, Bruce Wayne's got the money, but of course the way he acts. So he needs to throw off and make it not so it's superstitious. So yeah, and you can even see from his hair. I know a lot of people complain about his hair being emo or whatever, but it suits the theme. He doesn't really care about his physical appearance and such. But it says he's really working out on this rage. All the fights seem very personal. He uses various weapons to beat down enemies. A shot shows Andy Serkis as Alfred. Finally, I've been wanting to see that. The Batmobile drives with flames coming from its exhaust. We can't wait for you to see the Batman in theaters next year, Reeves says. And then I think this is, the rest is just all, I don't know, is this new stuff? No, I think this is from last year. I'll read it anyway, though. The Batman will see Pattinson bringing about an entirely new take on the character, with a cast that also includes Colin Farrell as the Penguin, Paul Dano as the Riddler, Zoe Kravitz as Catwoman, John Turturro as Carmine Falcone, Peter Sarsgaard as Gil Coulson, Jamie Lawson as Bella Real, Barry Keoghan as Officer Stanley Merkel, Gordon's partner, and Andy Serkis as Alfred Pennyworth. I think they forgot Commissioner Pete Savage in the casting list, but that's all right. It's just as important as any of the Rogues Gallery Reeves said during DC. Yeah, this was a last year tidbit. But man, I'm so excited for this. As I said, this film is going to be very different than any incarnations we've gotten before it. This is going to be an amateur Batman. It's a year 2 Batman, so I don't know how he's going to play Bruce Wayne's age in this, but I'd assume at the very least late 20s to very early 30s in his sort of age trajectory. Robert Pattinson's 35 right now. Some people complain he looks too young, and this guy's in his mid-30s, so he can definitely pull off, I'd say, in early 30s, possibly 28, 29-year-old Batman. Of course, this is year 2 Batman, so canonically he should either be 28 or 30, depending on which iteration you're going with, but that's just besides the fact. But again, this is supposed to be a much more darker film. I know with Batman it always encompasses and incorporates this sort of darkness, but what they're really going for is something different. If you don't want any spoilers, I'm not going to say spoilers, I'm only going to say information that was said in the teaser and sort of elaborated on that. So if you categorize that as a spoiler, just be warned. But in the trailer, they had Paul Dano as the Riddler, when he was doing If You Are Justice, Please Do Not Lie. But he said at the end of it, you're a part of this too. And a lot of people speculating whose voice it was replying with. How am I a part of this? Some people saying it's his Batman voice. And some people saying it's just, quite frankly, it's just Bruce Wayne flat out. But I'll get to that in a second. But Matt Reeves said something last year during DC Fandom, and that was he's going through this history of corruption in Gotham, and then he's going to figure out where did his family sit in this, because we've always had the portrayal of Thomas and Martha Wayne as these very patron figures, these very, I wouldn't say divine figures, but they were very charitable and very accomplished in themselves, meaning they gave a lot to Gotham and they were held to very high regard, especially Thomas Wayne, who again was a billionaire, owned Wayne Enterprises, but he worked at the hospital as a doctor, saving lives, doing the best he could to improve the lives of the citizens of Gotham. So an interesting take nonetheless to see them. What if they were corrupt and part of the problem? If you've ever that makes me think of, if you've ever played it, Batman the Telltale series. It's the fantastic. It's like a sort of Elseworlds, and it has that same idea that his parents are corrupt. Specifically Thomas Wayne. His wife Martha was against it, but in that it had Thomas Wayne as corrupt. He was working with Carmine Falcone and shit. So I feel like this is gonna probably be something similar to that. And about the end, because a lot of people say that you're part of this too, how am I a part of this? That response was Bruce Wayne. And I'm unsure. I'm leaning towards that as his Batman voice, because a lot of people described it as this sort of slow, cold whisper, and that's what it sounded like to me. And if you haven't seen any of Robert Pattinson's films, the dude, as Matt Reeves said, is literally a chameleon. He's fantastic at his voice and his accents, and he doesn't even use a vocal coach. He's just naturally gifted, so I think that's Batman. But either character, it means one of two things. That you're a part of this too. If he's saying that to Bruce Wayne, obviously he's telling Bruce Wayne, hey, your parents were part of the problem. Because if you don't know, the Riddler in this is supposed to be based loosely on the Zodiac Killer, but more importantly, he's ridding Gotham of its corruption and exposing the lies. As he says, he writes lies, no more lies, on the mayor's face when he duct tapes him in the beginning of the trailer. So it's exposing that corruption. That's his take. He's sort of an anti-hero in this, but in the case, if he was talking to Bruce Wayne, if that was Bruce Wayne replying, then it would be about his parents. But if you're saying that to Batman, you're a part of this too, it could potentially be that he's saying you're part of this too by not ridding and exposing the corruption and not killing. It could be that, because obviously the Riddler is killing in this. So he could be alluding to the fact that Batman has his no-kill rule, which was confirmed by Matt Reeves. Batman in this is a humanist, and he has his no-kill rule in full effect. So it could be something about that. But either way, very interesting. I kind of wish we could see this footage. I'm not even gonna lie. There's just so much depth to this. There is literally so much layers. As Shrek says, onions have layers, and the Batman has many layers. But more importantly, Matt Reeves, the guy's a genius, and he is a perfectionist. There's so much detail in literally every scene. The fact that Gotham is using Gothic architecture in Glasgow and Liverpool, and then using modern VFX to put in the buildings and make it look modern with a mix of that Gothic aspect to really bring Gotham to life in a way you haven't seen before. So that's awesome. Treating the city as its own character. There's just really a lot to like about this movie. So I'm very, very, very intrigued about when everything is going to unfold. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this as much as you could. This was more me rambling and sort of dropping knowledge bombs, but very nice, interesting information. For those of you watching, if you have any questions to ask me, just my opinion, or you just want to know something about, I don't know, the casting or whatnot, or just some official release plot. Again, I haven't seen any spoilers. If it's not official, I have not seen it. I know they have real leaks out there. I'm just steering clear. I want to experience this as blank as possible, but if something official comes out, of course I'm going to know about it. But if you want to know anything that you're wondering about it, I'll answer it as best as I can, and I'm like 99% sure I can answer your question. Or if you just want to say something about the Batman, that is fine too. We are all fans here. So like I said, hope you guys enjoyed this, and I'm going to begin my reaction series to Marvel's What If, like right after this. So yeah, that will be coming out tomorrow. So as I said, until then, I'll catch you folks in that video.